Everyone loves the Instagram version of solo backpacking. The mountain views, the picturesque tent sites, the smiling selfies. But here's the thing, there's a side to solo backpacking that most people never talk about. If we haven't met yet, hi, I'm Kathleen, a food-motivated hiker, solo backpacker, backpacking coach for women, and the hungry hiker here on YouTube. Just recently, I went on a 3-day, 2-night solo backpacking trip in an area I'd never been to before, and the first day and a half I was out there, I didn't see a single human. I had the trails, the mountain passes, and the views of the North Cascades all to myself, and I was the only tent set up overnight at the lake. With all of this time to myself, I got to thinking about what it really means to be a solo female backpacker. So in this video, I'm sharing with you 10 brutal truths about being a solo female backpacker. This is the stuff I wish someone had told me when I first started going backpacking alone. If you're excited about this video, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for new videos each week about hiking, backpacking, and tips on how you can plan your next outdoor adventure. So here are the 10 brutal truths about being a solo female backpacker, starting with brutal truth number 1. You'll be scared sometimes, and that's completely normal. It doesn't matter how many backpacking trips I've been on. Even an experienced backpacker like me who's hiked thousands of miles by myself out in the backcountry at this point still feels moments of fear when I'm out on trail by myself, especially at night and when I'm in an unfamiliar place. To this day, one of the things that makes me feel nervous and on edge is when I'm camping at a tent site and there's no other tents around and it's completely quiet. I'll often find myself listening for any noise and then play the "what's that" game inside my head until I fall asleep. Confidence doesn't come from getting rid of your fears. It comes from learning how to manage them. Whenever I'm backpacking by myself, I always try to look for a tent site that's near natural running water. Not only is it super convenient to camp near a water source, but there's also something really soothing about falling asleep to the sound of natural running water. Being able to listen to natural running water means I'm less likely to get hung up on the quietness of a spot, and I'm much more likely to get a good night's sleep while I'm there. As a solo female backpacker, you'll carry all of the weight, both physically and mentally. There's no one else to split carrying the gear with or help me make decisions while I'm out there alone. I'm the gear mule, the navigator, the cook, and the decision maker. Solo backpacking means I'm 100% responsible for carrying all the gear and food I'll need, the routes I choose to take, where I set up camp each night, when and where I eat, and whatever I need to do to help me feel comfortable while I'm out there. Being in control of every aspect of my solo trip is empowering. While having all of this responsibility helps me feel stronger, more confident, it can also be incredibly exhausting. As a solo female backpacker, you'll learn to problem solve on the fly. I'm the repair crew if something happens to me or my gear when I'm out on trail alone. A couple of days into my solo section hike along the Pacific Crest Trail in Oregon a few years back, one of my tent poles snapped on my freestanding tent while I was trying to set it up. I had to use whatever I had, an emergency tent splint, duct tape, and a bit of patience, and figure out how to keep the pole together each time I set up my tent until I was able to get into town a week later and exchange my tent for a new one. Gear failures happen at the most inconvenient times. Inflatable sleeping pads spring a leak, water filters stop working, stoves won't light, batteries die. Being a solo female backpacker means I have to be resourceful and figure out how to repair a gear failure when I'm out on trail alone. This is why I always pack a gear repair kit with me on every trip I go on. Inside my gear repair kit, I carry things like an emergency tent splint, tenacious tape, paracord, small bottles of crazy glue, water purification tablets, a sports bottle cap I can use to back flush my filter, a knife, and a patch kit for my sleeping pad. I also like to always have duct tape wrapped around my trekking poles for easy access, and so I can always know exactly how much I have left so I can replace it before my next backpacking trip. Another brutal truth about being a solo female backpacker is that people will project their fears onto you whenever you tell them you're going backpacking alone. As I was preparing to thru hike the Pacific Crest Trail alone for the first time, I was excited to tell all my friends and family about my upcoming trip. What I found though was instead of being excited for me and asking how I was getting ready for my trip, a lot of people projected their own fears onto me by saying things like, "That's dangerous. It's not safe being a woman out there alone. You're crazy. I wish I was brave like you. Aren't you scared?" And even asking if I was planning on carrying a gun. I could have easily taken on any one of those fears on as my own and talk myself out of going. Instead, I chose to ignore a lot of those fears and continue to plan my trip. Most of the time, people's doubts are more about their own fears of getting outside their comfort zone and have nothing to do with me. For every solo backpacking trip I take myself on, I always make sure to do my research of the area before getting to the trailhead. I prepare myself with all the gear and food I'll need to hike the trail safely and comfortably, and share my route and return day and time with someone at home whom I trust. I don't care if someone thinks I shouldn't go backpacking alone because they think it's dangerous. We do dangerous things every day, like crossing a street and driving a car. Someone else's fears are not my fears. I'm not gonna let other people's fears hold me back from doing the things I wanna do, and neither should you. Another brutal truth about solo female backpacking is that it can get lonely out there, but it can also be incredibly liberating. Let me explain. On my most recent solo backpacking trip in Washington State, I didn't see another person for the first day and a half I was out there. One of my irrational fears about solo backpacking is that I'm going to be the only human being out on trail. At first, I felt really nervous and isolated. How was I not seeing anyone else out on trail? Then I reminded myself that one of the reasons why I love going backpacking alone is that I get to be in complete control of my trip. I get to set my own pace, stop whenever I want, camp wherever I want, and not have to answer to anyone. Also, not seeing anyone else out on trail or at camp meant that I didn't have to move over to let anyone pass me, didn't have to talk to anyone else but myself, and got first dibs of where I set my tent up at the lake. Learning to be my own best company is one of the greatest gifts solo backpacking has given me. Sure, being out there by myself can feel lonely at times, but it's also quite empowering. Spending time out on trail alone gives me an opportunity to really get to know myself and discover what I'm truly capable of, more so than being on any group trip ever could. Despite what the Instagram photos might have you think, solo backpacking is far from glamorous. It's dirty, messy, and rarely perfect. I'll go multiple days without a shower, not brush my hair, and get covered in dirt, sweat, sunscreen, and bug repellent. Even my gear gets filthy and stinky while I'm out there. Thank goodness there's not a scratch and sniff option with the backpacking photos I post on Instagram. The reality is, even though I look like a hot mess when I'm out on trail alone, I always feel strong climbing up each and every mountain pass. One of the things I love about solo backpacking is that the backcountry strips away vanity. The outdoors doesn't care what you look like or how bad you stink. I'm always the best version of myself whenever I'm out on trail alone. Solo backpacking always reminds me how my body and mind is so much stronger and more capable than what I give myself credit for. This type of strength is way more glamorous to me than any photo on Instagram. As a solo female backpacker, it's my responsibility to make sure I not only have everything I need in order to be self-reliant while I'm out on trail alone, but to also have to make the call to turn around and reroute whenever a situation looks too dangerous. Solo backpacking demands preparation. Not only with doing my research ahead of time of the area I plan on hiking in and having all the gear and food I need in order to be safe and comfortable while I'm out there alone, but also having necessary skills like knowing how to use my navigation tools, being situational aware, having first aid basics, being able to plan for emergencies like sketchy water crossings or bad weather, and trusting my instincts whenever something feels off. Sometimes knowing that I'm 100% responsible for my safety as a solo backpacker can feel heavy, but it also helps make me capable and self-reliant. As a solo female backpacker, you'll have to learn how to be comfortable with saying no. This could be politely declining a hitch into town if something doesn't feel right, refusing to camp with strangers if you don't feel comfortable, or having to adjust your plans if you need to turn around or reroute your original itinerary. I once had a stranger on trail invite me to camp near them, and I don't know what it was, but something about the situation just felt off. So I politely declined and kept hiking further down the trail until I found a place to set up camp alone. When it comes to being a solo female backpacker, trusting your instincts and setting fast and firm boundaries is non-negotiable. Saying no is a skill and can help you stay safe while you're out there alone. With solo backpacking, you'll often experience extreme highs and lows, and sometimes all within the same hour. Solo backpacking can be an emotional roller coaster. One minute I could be climbing up to the top of a pass and feel like I'm on top of the world. Minutes later, I'm running down the trail trying to get out of a thunder and lightning storm and wondering why I'm out there in the first place. Experiencing the lows out on trail will help make all the highs you experience out there that much sweeter. So whatever comes your way, instead of getting upset and fighting it, embrace it and enjoy it. Laughing also helps too, because sometimes all you can do in situations like those is hunker down and laugh. And finally, brutal truth number 10 about being a solo female backpacker is that you'll come home a different person. After finishing my most recent solo backpacking trip in Washington State, I didn't just get stronger physically, but I was also more confident, independent, and much more sure of myself and my capabilities than I was before starting my trip. For me, solo backpacking is less about the miles and is more about the smiles. It's one of the biggest and best confidence boosters in my life. If I can think it, I can do it, and I can always rely on myself. There's nothing I can't do after I've come back from a solo backpacking trip. Solo backpacking will change you from the inside out. The confidence you gain out on trail doesn't just stay on trail, it follows you into the rest of your life. It's always the post-trip confidence boost that keeps me hooked on solo backpacking and has me already starting to plan my next solo adventure before I even make it back into cell service. Solo backpacking will test you, teach you, and transform you. And the good news is you don't have to figure it all out on your own. Inside my program, the Confident Solo Female Backpacker System, I help women just like you learn the skills, build the confidence, and find the support to help turn their dreams of wanting to go solo backpacking one day into a reality today. If you're ready to go from I could never do this to I just did that, click the link down in the description below and apply to join us. If you like this video and got some value out of it, make sure to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for new videos each week and hit that bell icon to get notified each time new videos are posted. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy trails and keep on trucking.